Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. Today we are going to look at Canadian politics again. Whew. If you've been paying attention to this whole situation, you're probably needing to lie down about now. On Monday, all hell broke loose in the Canadian Parliament. Absolute chaos as the Liberal Party in Canada, led by Justin Trudeau, kind of imploded on itself a little bit. And that was on the 16th of December, the day that the fall economic report was to be tabled by the Liberal Party, by the finance minister, Chrystia Freeland. And she resigned a few hours before she was supposed to do that. Apparently, and none of this is speculation, none of this is allegedly, because it was a very public resignation. And apparently on Friday, a few days prior to her resignation, she and Justin Trudeau had not been agreeing on what was going on, the spending and all of that sort of stuff, which I get because as finance minister, you're the one everyone's going to blame. So I was in Parliament last week. I was in Parliament on the 10th of December, and we got to tour. My MP arranged everything for me. His office took care of everything. Got us tickets for the gallery for Question Period. So we watched Question Period. That was me and my son. And so even that day, there was rumblings in the media that there was tension between the finance minister, who was also the deputy prime minister, and the prime minister, Justin Trudeau. So that's kind of where we're at. They stood there. I was there. I was like 20 feet away from these two people as they said, nope, everything's just fine. And Chrystia Freeland like repeatedly said, I look forward to, tabling this economic report, the fall economic report, a few days before Christmas. She finally gets it out there. So it turns out that on Friday, prior to this report being tabled, I guess there was a big disagreement, and Justin Trudeau tried to put her into a different ministerial position. She said no and decided that she had to resign from the cabinet, resign from being Minister of Finance, resign from being Deputy Prime Minister, and she was just going to sit as a regular Liberal MP and plans to run in the next election. I think her riding has been very, very liberal for a very long time. So there's a good chance that she would get reelected, but the Liberals will not be forming the next government as we're waiting for an election here in Canada. All the Canadians watching will be like, oh, get me an election. Unless you're a Liberal who thinks everything's just fine. And I'd say you're in for a wake-up call. So that's where we're at. So let's see the energy around Justin Trudeau. Right now, I am filming this on December 18th. December 18th. They had their final day in Parliament yesterday, and they've all either they're already home or they're on their way home for the holidays. And the Parliament will resume again at the end of January. So a month and a bit off, about 40 days off, I would say. So maybe 42 days, 6 weeks off. So there we have it. That's where we're at. Okay. So we're going to pull some cards and we're going to see what the heck is going on in that man's head. Okay. Page of Gifts. He wants to do more. He wants to do more. Oh my God, this man. Page, our gifts are our pentacles. So this is our Page of Pentacles. He thinks everything is tickety-boo. He thinks everything is just fine and he's going to be able to do more and more and more for this country. When he is asked why he will not resign, like I've seen reporters and journalists ask him, okay, everybody's asking you to resign. Why will you not resign? And he says, because I made a promise to young people and I'm going to see that through. And meanwhile, the entire country, including young people, are like, please go away. Please go home. Please just stop Just stop. The leader of the opposition made a big speech the other day where he was like, just stop. Whatever you're doing, just stop. Do nothing. So he thinks he's going to keep going and he's going to keep growing the economy, which is in tatters. Our entire country's shattered right now. And, people keep saying the country's broken. And to that I say, no, Canada is not broken, but our government really is. The structures are broken. Canada itself is not broken. And I'm going to try not to cry. You can't break the Canadian spirit. So we will be back. We will be back. 6 of good cheer. So this is the 6 of cups. Ugh. This is an awful card. There's so many things being said about about his involvement with children. Let's just say that. He was a teacher. There is a woman who had to sign an NDA about that. So, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Again, back to, he thinks he's doing it for young people. He thinks he's doing it for the betterment of children. What you hear him talk about is, how the Conservatives keep voting down this, and they're not in agreement with the school food program. Canadian families are hurting so much that Justin Trudeau is like, I'll fix it by feeding your children at school myself. People don't want that. Why the Conservatives keep voting that down is because the Conservatives want Canadian families to be able to buy their own food and not have to line up for the government food. It's pretty simple. It's so simple. But this man is like, our school food program hasn't fed a single child, by the way, but he keeps shoveling money into it. Anyway, he thinks he's doing it for the children. And people are like, yeah, if you could just stop everything. Stop it. This man is delusional. Let's allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. We're just really looking at pretty cards and telling stories. Whew, the moon. There is a lot being hidden from us. There is a lot. He's keeping a lot of things from us. And he said he's going to take the next 6 weeks to reflect. His party has asked him to step down. I saw a report that there's 50 Liberal MPs who want him to step down. I think it would be a beautiful sight on the first day of Parliament if all the MPs who want him to resign and step down because they know they will not get reelected, if they just stand up and cross the floor and pick your favorite Conservative MP and hold their hand and hang on. Hang on for the ride, because it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. And then we would get an election for sure, or maybe not need an election. The magic number, I did the math last night. The magic number is 17. If 17 Liberal MPs crossed the floor or sat as independent, resigned from the Liberal Party and sat as independent, which would not be their smartest move because they would not get reelected as independent, but they would get reelected as a Conservative. So if this were me and I was a Liberal and I'm looking at this situation, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to have a little chitty chat and some soul searching and think about moving to the Conservative side of the House. If 17 of them do that, and then the Conservatives and the Bloc team up together, they have enough votes to get an election. So there we have it. Or enough votes to shut down the Liberals and stop everything that they're doing. They wouldn't get anything passed. So there we have it. That's the math on Parliament at the moment. But there's a lot of stuff being done behind the scenes, in secret, in the shadows. As we know, Justin Trudeau is a very sneaky man, and I'm going to guess that this is pointing to I don't want to say it, but it's the place with the initials that begin with W. People in the know will know what I'm talking about, because we know he's a high-ranking member. And that's where he's getting his orders from. He doesn't care about the Canadian people. If he cared about the Canadian people, he would be behaving very differently. He would be serving Canadians instead of serving himself and his overlords. Obviously, I'm not a fan of this man. I'm not even going to try to pretend to hide my bias here. We're going by what the cards are saying. But there's a lot of sneaky stuff going on in the background, and the timing for this card is February 19th to March 20th. Pisces season. Pisces is connected to the moon, and there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of mystery behind this, the unknown, the unseen, and paths changing. So it has been said that in March, the NDP would be willing to vote non-confidence. Yeah, after Jagmeet Singh gets his pension at the end of February, that's when he qualifies for his pension. I believe it's February 25th is the date that he qualifies for his pension. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, someone please correct me so we can get the right information there. But this is letting me know he's not reflecting. He's conniving. He's plotting and scheming to try to figure out what's next. By the way, I did hear a little whisper that one of the Liberal MPs, and I know which one, is thinking of crossing the floor. I think she's going to open the floodgate. I think if she does, on the first day of Parliament in January, I believe January 27th is our magic day. If she does, and she might be also working behind the scenes, plotting and scheming to get 17, because they will have done the math too. If the average Canadian can do the math, so can they. She may be plotting and scheming to get 17 MPs to stand up and cross the floor. And I think it would be a beautiful sight to see. So there we have it. And Justin, you can't break Canadians. You can break our government, you can break the structures, but you can't break the spirit of Canada. All right, what do we have here? Our 8 of Wands. He's definitely feeling trapped. For sure, he is trapped. He's trying to figure out what move to make, because he's got everything sort of coming at him all at once. He's getting attacked from every direction, not just the opposition, but his allies too. He's getting attacked over and over and over. Like the arrows are flying at him. Choo, choo, choo. 8 of Canes is our 8 of Wands. And there's lots of blocks and obstacles for him. Like, I think within his own party, people are going to be trying to shut him down. Absolutely. Not just saying it, but actively working on it. 9 of Good Cheer, which is our 9 of Cups. He thinks he's accomplished a lot. This man is such a psychopath that he's my opinion only, he's going to be sitting at Christmas dinner, potentially all alone, because his wife left him too, by the way, in case you weren't aware of that. Anybody who's not in Canada might not know that, but yeah, his wife left him. He's separated from his wife, but she had enough too. So he is very much alone in the world, even though he's surrounded by handlers and everything and allies and fake friends all the time. He is very truly very much alone in the world. This man cannot walk down the street. He can't just go to dinner. He's constantly being attacked, constantly. And he can't even go to dinner. So he's probably feeling very isolated right now, emotionally. Like he probably wonders if he has a friend in the world. But the problem is that he doesn't care. He's like, I'm the most wonderful person in the world. I am the king of Canada. Everything is tickety-boo. Everything's wonderful. And look at everything I've achieved. Yeah, you literally set the country on fire. Absolutely burnt it to the ground. But not Canadians. You can't break Canadians. And of course, Sinterklaas is the Hierophant. That's the government. He believes he will continue to be the government. He thinks this is his destiny. He thinks that he was born for this. I mean, his father was prime minister, and when it came very clear to him that he was no longer wanted as the leader of this country, he resigned. The famous line, "I'm going to take a walk in the snow." So everybody keeps telling Justin, could you please just take a walk in the snow and don't come back? That would be great. But he thinks he is the government. He thinks he's the king of Canada. We know that because he put himself in our Canadian passports. You ain't a Canadian hero, Justin. So just stop it. Just stop. Pierre Poilievre made this big speech. Just stop begging begging, begging. He thinks he's the government. This time of reflection, it will do nothing. He's not a normal person who would sit there and be like, oh, maybe I should start owning my role in my own misery. No, he thinks the problem is the rest of us, and we just don't get him. Even his own mother said that the problem is that people just aren't woke enough to understand him. She also made a big tweet saying if everybody could stop yelling at him, that would be, it really hurts his feelings. And then she took it down almost immediately. Not before it was screenshot though. And, people were just laughing at the whole situation. Like, seriously? The man doesn't have feelings. So yeah. And our final card here is the Six of Candles, the Six of Wands. Let's see if we have some timing. I'm pretty much begging for this February 27th. August 2nd to 11th. So this is a summer card, nothing to do with this. I always find it really interesting. I always think this looks like the Rotary logo. So he feels like he has won. He feels like he's won at life. I saw his speech the night of all of this. Then on Monday night, he gave a speech. You would think he had had the best day of his life. Nothing had happened. There was nothing wrong. And nothing was going on. It was bonkers. It was absolutely bizarre. It was surreal watching it. And it's like, there's no shame. There's no humility. There's no like, oh, may have effed up a little bit here. Yeah, there was no talk of like, you know what? We're having some struggles. We're going to regroup. No, nothing. It's just like, yeah, best day ever. And yeah, so he thinks that he has won the government, that he's achieved so much, that people are cheering for him. That he's literally winning at Canada, and he's so delusional. There's not going to be any reflecting. He's going to come back and say, we are stronger than ever. And then fingers crossed, cross everything. 17 MPs stand up and cross. That would be the most magical, beautiful day. I plan to be watching it live, and I'm so ready to jump up and down cheering, finally get an election. I told my MP is known for a long time that the second that the election is called and the writ is dropped, I will be there for him. His office arranged for me to go to Parliament on the 10th. My son and I drove up to Ottawa, spent the day. We had a great tour. His staff are some of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life. And I was at his Christmas party a few weeks ago, and got to see them again. It was super exciting. And that's where this kind of came from, where I was asking like, okay, well, how can my son volunteer? Because he's very interested in politics. And his assistant, my MP's assistant said, well, come to Ottawa. Let's get that done. We'll get you in. So we did it immediately. Like 10 days later, we were in Ottawa and had a tour and got to watch the question period from the gallery. If you are Canadian, I'm letting you know now, you do have the right to do that. You can't just show up. There's a lot of security protocols. So if you are thinking, yeah, I would like to go see this in person and meet my MP and go for a tour and everything else, just reach out to your MP's office, let them know. You may have to email them a couple times. You may have to call depending on how that office works. Even just show up on a work day. Obviously, this is not a work day. I think they're all, or maybe their offices are open. But just go and let them know. Talk to somebody and say, you know what, I'd really like to go to Ottawa and meet with the MP up there and have a tour and have tickets for the gallery. You do have to go under an invitation. So by going there and asking your MP, you would be initiating the invitation, because there's so many security protocols. We got checked so many times trying to enter the building. We were security checked like an airport. We were then had to show our ID to police to make it to out of the next room and be cleared for that. They do actually contact the MP's office and, confirm and double check and say your visitors are here. And then there's just so much security that, and it's good. I felt very safe in there. Every 10 feet, there's an armed police officer, and not like your regular everyday police officers. These are parliamentary police. So anyway, that is my little message to Canadians. Here's what Justin Trudeau is going to be doing. He's going to be celebrating himself for the next 6 weeks, and he's going to come back and act like none of this happened. And fun fact, Dominic LeBlanc, who he's now appointed as the finance minister, was his babysitter when Justin Trudeau was little. So yeah, nothing shifty going on there. Not at all. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment and let me know that you were here. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this whole situation. Are you hoping the Liberals will stay in power and keep going? Do you believe that they have your best interests? If you do, that's great. If you do believe that, you know, I say good for you. Or do you believe that this needs to stop? We need to bring this to an end and get a new government in to save Canadians, basically, because we're just drowning. We're absolutely drowning. Anyway, leave a comment and let me know. Have a magical day.